What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Slo-Rip MTB channel. So this is the very first video on this channel. Some of y'all might know me from my other channel where I talk about firearms training, firearms and firearms accessory. Some of y'all might recognize me from that channel, but this is the new mountain bike channel. Let me give you guys a little backstory on how we got here. So the reason why I even got into mountain biking is I got a cheap e-bike from Amazon just so I can be able to go with my wife when she goes for runs, because my wife, she runs a lot. She's training for a marathon, and you know, I got knee injuries and shoulder injuries from the military. You know, I got a retirement. I got a medical retirement from the military, so I have injuries that I can't really run. I can run, but I can't run for long distances, and if I continue to run, it's gonna just get worse and worse, and I'm gonna have to get surgery, and I'm trying to avoid surgery. So I'm trying to be active and be with my wife when she goes and runs, but since I can't run, I needed to find a solution where how can I be with her without actually having to run. That's where bicycles came in. So anyways, like I said, I ordered a cheap e-mountain bike just to, like I said, it wasn't for trails or anything. It was just literally just to drive around the city, a commuter type e-bike, but it's built like a mountain bike. I got into it and I started getting into mountain biking, and I started realizing that, you know what, I can do a lot more with mountain biking than just riding around the neighborhood or riding around the city. I can go off trails and I can go up mountains, and you know, my wife likes to do the incline in Colorado Springs, the Monotone incline. I've done it a couple times where it just hurts my knees a lot, and there's a lot of knee pain from doing the incline. So, but there's other ways that I can go up there. I can go up the trail and then ride down the trail if I want to, you know what I'm saying? And so I started looking into all the avenues of mountain biking, and then I did it. I did the one thing where you go down the rabbit hole of mountain biking. And I'm gonna warn you right now, if you're new to mountain biking, there's a rabbit hole in the corner of mountain biking, and I promise you, if you go down that hole, you're gonna get hooked. And before you know it, you're gonna be spending thousands of dollars on bikes and parts and accessories. You're gonna be spending thousands of dollars on bike gear. And it's just a super expensive hobby, but it's also a very rewarding hobby, not only for your physical health, but you get to do things with your family, with your spouse. If you guys like to go outdoors, but you have injuries that you can't really hike too long, or you can't really, run and jog and stuff like that, I feel like the mountain biking bridges that gap, because now me and my wife, we can do things together. If she wants to run, I can just hop on a bike. If she wants to ride, she can hop on the other bike. And that's why I got this bike, and this is gonna be the first bike review or unboxing on this channel. A little history about this bike before I do the unboxing. You're gonna notice throughout the rest of the time that I have this bike that I'm gonna have the company logos blocked out. And I don't have the company logos blocked out because I'm not ashamed. It's not a cheap bike. It was upwards $2,500, around the $3,000 price mark. So it's not a cheap bike, and I'm very proud of it. And from what I've seen so far from the reviews on it, it's a very good bike. So I'm not ashamed of the bike at all. The reason why I have the logos covered for this bike is because there's several things that happen in the buying process that kind of just, I didn't like how the customer service replied or reacted to those things. And so I'm just gonna tell you a quick story of what happened and why I have the logos blocked out, and why for the entirety that I own this bike, I'm gonna cover up the logo. I'm gonna re-sticker them or whatever, and put whatever custom logos on there. But I'm gonna tell you guys the reason why. And like I said, there's no shame. I'm not ashamed of the bike. It's a very good bike. It's a very good company, and it's a very good bike. So I'm not ashamed of it. But this is the reason why I'm gonna have the logos blocked out, and I'm not gonna support, and I'm not gonna advertise, because keeping the bike, this jet wants to fly by right now. Give me a second. And that jet was super loud, man. Anyways, so when you have logos, company advertise with their logos. So when you buy a car, you see Chevy everywhere. When you buy a Ford, you see Ford everywhere. That's free advertisement for that company. And the same thing with bikes. The companies have the logos super huge all over the bike and whatever, on the boxes and the packaging, and you're advertising for them for free. And so let me tell you what happened and why I decided that I'm not gonna help this company advertise. I'm not gonna mention its name. So if you ask me, if you message me in private message, I might tell you what company it is or whatever, but I'm not gonna publicly advertise or mention this company's name. So the first thing was, in the buying process, it came to the point where it says use a discount code, and it says law enforcement, military, teachers, and students can get a discount if you click on this link and verify that you're a law enforcement, military, teacher, student, or whatever. So I clicked on that link, went through the whole process. I went through the whole authenticator process, and I you know, prove that I was law enforcement, ex-military or whatever, and it generated a discount code. So I applied that discount code to the bike, and I noticed the price didn't change. So I went ahead with the purchase, I processed it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna email customer service, and maybe they can, you know, maybe they can help me out, maybe they can give me the discount. If not, it's cool. I'm not worried about the money. It wasn't about the money. So when they replied to when they replied to my email about the discount code, they just literally said, that's not a valid code. And I'm like, well, this is the code that I got from you guys' website. And they're like, it's not a valid code. We can't use it. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So that was kind of the first kind of, you know, red flag for me. And I was just like, okay, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. I was just saying, this link, the discount code link is on you guys' website. I used it, I got the code, and you're saying it's not a valid code. Okay, whatever. So now I went and I did the purchase, confirm order, everything. I selected the color and everything, which is the gray color. The gray color is what I wanted, and that's the one I selected. I went through the process, went through the credit card process, went through the whole process, put in information, paid, said payment went through, whatever, check your emails for your receipt, your order receipt. So I think it was the following day, or I think it might have been the same day, I got the email confirmation for the order. And I looked at it and I'm like, all right, cool. They got the money, they're gonna start building the bike or whatever, cool. So when I looked down at the specs of the bike, it said it was a black one. And I'm like, wait, hold up, I selected the gray one. So I immediately emailed them and tell them, hey, look, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was my fault. I don't know if there's issue with the website or whatever. I might have selected the wrong color. I really wanted a gray one. Can I get the gray one? I really wanted a gray one, not the black one. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the black one. It's just the gray one just looked a little bit sexier. So I wanted it. And the reply to me was, I suggest that you keep the black one because the gray ones are gonna ship later and the black ones are gonna ship mid-August and the gray ones are gonna ship at the end of August. So I suggest you keep the gray. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I emailed him back again, I think the next day, because I was kind of like, what the hell? So I emailed him the next day and I said, look, I understand that the gray one is going to ship at the end of August, but that's the one I originally wanted. So I was expecting it to be shipped at the end of August. So I really wanted a gray one. If there any way you can change it out real quick before I literally just bought it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can go into the computer and just update the color real quick. Like, and they just ignored my email, right? So then I was like, what the hell? So then the following day I emailed them because they ignored that email. And I said, look, I really, really want the gray one. I understand that, I don't know if it was my error or if it was a website error, but I really wanted a gray one, and I understand that it's gonna ship in the end of August, and I'm completely fine with that. I have no problem waiting for it. And their reply was, okay. I think it said something along the lines like, okay, understood, or something like that. And I was just like, okay, are you gonna change it? So then, anyways, I think a matter of fact, that same night when they replied to that email, I got the shipment confirmation and they just said your order's on this way, it's being shipped through FedEx. And I'm like, what the hell? So you just literally just gonna just not work with me on the color? You're just gonna just say, here's the color? And this is the reason why I'm not advertising that company, because I know for a fact when I ordered the bike, I selected the gray one, because I'm very meticulous when I order and I spend in thousands of dollars on something. I make sure everything is in order. So I make sure I had the right color that I wanted. And I don't know if it was a glitch in the system when it went to the payment, or I don't know what happened. It could have been even my fault. But even if it was my fault and I selected the wrong color, if I emailed you immediately as soon as I got the confirmation that the payment went through, telling you that I wanted to change the color, what's the problem? Like, what's the big deal? Like, the colors cost the exact same. It doesn't matter if you got the gray, the black, the red, the brown, all the colors are the exact same price. So I don't understand what the problem is. It's not like I selected a color that's gonna come earlier. So, you know what I'm saying? So I just didn't understand, and I just didn't like how they replied to me. I just felt like super just disrespected. I'm blowing off like, I'm not, whatever, dude, you're gonna get the color. And I honestly feel that I selected the gray, and for some reason, it went to the black. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if they had some issues with the gray. I don't know if there's a delay in the gray and they just didn't communicate with me. But had they just communicated with me and told me something other than, you know, I suggest you keep the black, it's like I wouldn't have a problem with them. So that's the reason why, in a nutshell, why I refuse to advertise this company. It's a great bike, it's an awesome company, but I am personally not gonna advertise this company because I didn't get a discount, I didn't get a kickback, they didn't send me this bike for free. I paid this money with my hard-earned money. I paid this money 100% taxes and everything. So anyways, that's my rant, that's my rave, and why you will not see the original company logo on this bike. I'm going to cover it with something. I don't know if I'm going to repaint it. I'm going to just put another sticker over it, but that's why I'm not going to be advertising this company anymore. Like I said, I didn't get any type of kickback. I didn't get a discount, and like I said, it's not because of that. It's just the fact that when I replied about the color and asked them if they could swap out the color for me, they just kind of blew me off and just kind of said, screw you, this is what you're going to get. And I knew for a fact when I ordered it, I selected the gray, so I don't know if there's an issue with the gray. I don't know if it was out of stock or if it was going to be a delay or something, but had they communicated it better with me, I wouldn't have a problem. But that's just my personal issue. And anyways, let's go ahead with the unboxing of this bike and let's get this video started, man. All right, so we're about to cut the straps of this mystery company that I am not advertising, you know? So, and like I said, this is my first video on this channel, so I'm literally a nobody in the bike industry. I'm literally a beginner to mountain biking. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do. That's why I want to document it on I created a YouTube channel so you guys can follow along on my mountain biking journey. And this is the first step to taking my mountain bike seriously. Some of you might recognize the company just by looking at the silhouette of the frame of the bike. As you can see, it's an e-mountain bike. Like I said, the reasons for me going with an e-mountain bike instead of a traditional, mountain bike is, like I said, I have injuries from the military. I have knee and shoulder injuries, and I'm starting to have like back issues a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it's mainly the knee and shoulders, and just pedaling and running, and it's a lot of discomfort. And so in order for me to enjoy this stuff, I went with an e-mountain bike. So it's not like so don't think that I'm just like, oh, you want to go up the trails easy and pass everybody. It's like I literally did it for injuries and medical purposes. All right, let's go ahead. Where's my cutter? Grab my box cutter. Slice this box open. Oh, there's staplers too, man. One thing about these packaging, man, they package the shit out these bikes, man. The first bike I got, also the packaging was ridiculous. I'm gonna have to get my little hammer to pry it because it's like big, gigantic. Right, so I am back with the hammer so I can pry this box open. You guys may hear an alarm go off because I'm cooking at the same time. And my wife is upstairs. She works from home, so she might randomly pop up, so don't be alarmed, guys. Pry this open. Man, she's gonna be mad because she's always cleaning the floors and sweeping and mopping, and so she's probably gonna be a little bit salty that I'm dirtying up the floor right now. But I'll clean it up though. All right. Prop this bad boy open. All right. So. And there's the alarm. You know what's crazy is that I just realized that my microphones weren't on. So the whole stuff that I just recorded right now, the whole unboxing, well, half of it, because I know it was on for the first half, but the second half when I turned it off, I changed out my microphones and I didn't turn them on. So a lot of the stuff I said, so if you guys didn't catch what I said earlier, so this wasn't the suspension that I ordered with the bike, that I paid for to come with the bike. It was supposed to be the SR Suntours, the XMC or XMX, I forgot what model it is. But it was supposed to be the SR Suntours. I was really looking forward to that, and I got these instead, RST Vibe. Oh man, I forgot this isn't on a stand. I got RST Vibe front suspensions. Never heard of this company. I'm pretty sure it's a cheap Chinese company, so I'm super salty about that. So I am gonna make emails and I am gonna make some phone calls and see if they're gonna send me the SR Suntours or reimburse me some money or something, because I paid for the SR Suntours and this is not them. So I am gonna make phone calls, I'm gonna make emails. Honestly, I don't expect them to do anything. I don't expect them to fix this problem. I don't expect them to rectify it already, just because how my small interactions with them on email has been so far, why I decided I'm not gonna show this company's brand and logo. So but here it is, man. This is the finished install of this company that I'm not advertising for, because I am not happy with customer service. I'm not happy with these cheap Chinese front suspension shocks that they sent me, man. So I'm super upset about that. I mean, who knows? Maybe RST Vibes are good suspensions. I just never heard of them, so I'm assuming they're a Chinese brand. I don't even know, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just assuming, but I've never heard of them before. They feel good, like when I sit on the bike, they actually feel pretty decent, but still, these are not what I paid for. Like, you know what I'm saying? These are not what I was looking forward to. So this is not what was advertised when I bought the bike. Yeah, so super salty about that, and I'm definitely gonna email them. I'm gonna definitely contact them about that and tell them, look, man, y'all gotta either send me the SR Suntours and I'll mail you guys these stuff, mail you guys this for it back, or you guys gonna have to reimburse me some money, man, because this is not what I paid for. This is not what I wanted in the front suspension. Everything else is fine. It has a Pro Max handlebars, it has the Gamma hydraulic brake system on it, and everything else is good. The rear suspension is good. Everything else is good on this bike except for the front suspension. This is not the suspension that I wanted. And the tires too, I thought I was getting some Wanda tires, but I don't even know what brand this is. Probably some cheap brand. I see WD, these possibly could be the Wanda tires, but I mean, I don't know, man. But anyways, thank you guys for checking this out. This is the first video of this channel, and this, I guess this is just a glimpse of what you can expect when it comes to mountain bikes, man. You're gonna be disappointed, man. You're gonna get disappointing points, but I'm not gonna be too bummed out about it. Like I said, I'm gonna eventually have to, if they don't send me the SR Suntours, I'm probably gonna have to upgrade the front suspension at some point. I'm gonna give these a try. Like I said, I've never heard of them. I've never looked at any reviews about them. I'm gonna have to check them out to see if they're even decent. I don't think they're decent for real trail riding, which, like I said, I'm not doing any extreme trail riding. I'm not going off the side of mountains and bumpy rocks at 20 miles per hour. So it might not be a big deal and they might work out. I don't know, but I'm just saying, it doesn't matter. I paid for the SR Suntours. You know what I'm saying? The XMCs, I believe there are. And this is not what these are. This is RST Vibe. You know what I'm saying? So all I can do is just laugh about the situation and move forward, and we're gonna just try to make the best of it. I'm stuck with these suspensions right now. I spent a lot of money on different accessories and stuff, so I'm gonna have to chill out on the front suspension. So these are gonna have to work out for now until I can afford to get some new, upgrade the suspension to the suspension I want. I'm gonna do some more research, take my time, and then I'm gonna invest in some nice suspension for me. Because like I said, I don't need super extreme suspensions because I'm not flying down the side of mountains at 20 miles per hour. I'm not doing any extreme rock climbing or rock descending. You know, I'm just trying to ride basic blue intermediate, you know what I'm saying, trails. I'm not trying to do any black diamond type trails or anything like that. I'm not that advanced yet. Maybe someday I will, but as of right now, I just want a basic, nice, decent trail rated suspension so it can be comfortable. So we'll see how it goes, man. Like I said, I'm gonna charge up the battery. Hopefully I'll be able to ride it before I have to go to work. The battery's gonna take a couple hours to charge, so hopefully I'll be able to get a nice charge in it and take it around the block real quick, but we'll see, man. But anyways, man, Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna do a more detailed spec. I'm gonna give you all the breakdowns, all the, you know, all the accessories and everything that it came with and everything. I'm gonna do a more detailed breakdown. This is just basically an unboxing. But anyways, I don't wanna make this one too long. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Slo-Rip MTB channel, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.